a weirdly tough game for the Atlanta Hawks tonight as they took on the shorthanded 76ers, but they handled business tonight, securing the eighth seed. But before we get into that, what is going on, Chris?
Hey man, how you feeling, man? Wait, man, eighth seed secure. Like you were saying, man, it's tough sledding at first, but at least we was able to do what we were supposed to do, and that was lock in that eighth seed, man. Happy to be back on Hawks Digest.
Yes,
Me and
sir.
Walter Pollard, man, about to bring y'all that fire when you
that's
need
what they,
that
that's what they used
Hawks
to say. The
content.
fi, that fi.
Yeah, that
Kendrick made it
yeah, when
clear
you
at the
need
end. But no,
yeah, man.
tonight was kind of weird, and just in general. The first half ended out 66-60. The Hawks were trailing at the half versus the 76ers. Again, 76ers have been extremely shorthanded, especially going down the last few games or just the last stretch of games. I mean, all three of their big three have been out. You dig what I'm saying? So with all of that, you would have expected for the Hawks to have taken care of business right off the gate. Um,
Right.
and Chris, is really just a
Uh,
culmination of the entire season. You play up and you play down to your competition, and that is just, I mean, that's what we can deal with the Hawks. But let's break this
right.
down, man. What happened in the first half?
Man, it's so crazy because you want to call things like anomalies, right?
Right?
Like, for example, Marvin Bagley, he hit four threes in the first half.
Mm.
And the man, like, if I'm not mistaken, for his last few of 3-point attempts, I think he was like 1 for 22
Mm-hmm.
coming into the game. So I'm like, first of all, but you want to say that's an anomaly, but those are type of things that just happen to the Atlanta Hawks. Guys, I like to call them randos from the bando. They just come out of
right,
nowhere
right, right.
and just light up the Hawks. I'm still mad about the Malachi Flynn game way back when he scored 50 and
Right,
we
right.
won, but it felt like a loss
Because you
because
allowed
he
that
scored.
nobody to get all those points.
Come on, man.
Right, right. I
What's
mean,
this? Who is this guy?
these are the halftime stats, and also too, nine turnovers doesn't. I've always been just transparent with everybody. My background is football, and
Mm,
it's already a limited amount of possessions you get. Of course, in basketball, you get far more possessions than usual, but
right.
turnovers kills momentums. It kills
Absolutely.
that just that momentum. It just kills it all together. And of course, you can see that the Atlanta Hawks, they did good as far as rebounding the ball, but the turnover and then the shooting. This is the second game that the other team has done well as far as shooting the ball, whereas the Atlanta Hawks, it took them a while to get it going.
Yeah, they hit 10 threes. You know what? At by the halftime, they hit 10 threes. So, like I said, that was going on. Then the Hawks, it just seemed like they just couldn't get it going. I know Mo G, he was like he looked completely lost in the first half, but
Right.
he did make up for it in that second half,
We'll
though. I
get it.
will say that.
We'll get into that in
But
a second. We'll get into
but
that
yeah,
for sure.
that
Yeah,
first half, we just didn't look like we had it all together. It's almost like we spent too much energy the night before. I mean, yes, we was on a back to back,
for sure.
and so we got to consider that too. So maybe the Hawks just had to kind of get warm. You know how you be cold
For
when you
sure.
first starting
For
out, and then
sure.
you just had to get a little warm. So the Sixers, they went out there and winged it. They really looked like, honestly, tonight looked like some stuff I would see in LA Fitness with some old heads versus some
Yeah.
young guys. The young
Right.
guys just coming out there just jacking up, doing this, being able to get this, get that. But I mean, they got some quality minutes in the first half from some guys. Um, and hey, they took advantage. I know that Bona guy, he did 14 in the first half from him as well. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
you know,
and also too. I mean, as far as the first half is concerned, the Hawks trailed for as much as 8 points. I mean, which is
mhm,
we know that it wasn't a lot, but to be trailing the shorthanded 76ers is a big issue. Also, too, I
of
mean,
course.
you did have good production from bench players like Karis LeVert. He came in with 18 points, 3 rebounds. He was 7 for 7 on his field goal attempts, 2 for 2 from 3 point
Yes.
land. So he definitely stepped up. And Trae Young was the same, 13, 5, and I think, yeah, 13 and 5, 13 points, 5 assists. 3 for
Right.
5 from field goal range, and I think he was 1 for 2 from 3-point land. So that first half was tough, and
Well,
just transitioning over to the second half, of course. Um, the third quarter was massive. It was a massive blowout. Hawks outscored the 76ers 30-19.
yeah, man, 30-19. Oh, but we also made 11 baskets, since they're seven in that, holding them to 30%, so while we scored 40%.
Mm-hmm.
They were 0 of 11 though from
Right,
three as
right,
well in the third period. So, saying bad shooting and credit to Hawks, saying to have these guys, saying like, have these guys taking these bad percentage shots and clogging up the paint and everything as well and taking advantage of it, getting out in transition, something that we normally do. That's,
right.
we're one of the top teams in pace, and we did that tonight. I believe 26 fast break points tonight, 26 or 28 fast break points tonight. So, and most of those came in the second half, of course, because the first half we was looking a little cold,
For sure,
and
for sure.
but the second half, yes, the Atlanta Hawks absolutely turned up the pace, turned up the heat, and it started in the third quarter, and it started with our leader, the head of the snake, as well too.
Right. Let's get into these. I guess the game stats for the most part. Game stats for. I think this might be a little too small for me to read. I guess I'm showing my age here, but um,
Come on, Walter, you got it, man.
as far as the game stats are concerned, well, the Atlanta Hawks, they definitely again won the game 124-110. Let me check out some of these game stats. Look at this box score. Okay, so Mo Gay, we said we were gonna get into that, and
Yeah,
he did
Mo
an
G,
awesome
man.
job. He did an
I
awesome
love it.
job. What he had like 18 rebounds.
Yes, sir. 18 rebounds. Now the thing about it is he only had five at the end of the first half.
Right,
So OG was able to convert on an extra 13. Some guys can't even get 13 in a in a full game. My man Mo G was able to get 13 in the second half, helping out a Yucca Okongwu, somebody who was in foul trouble tonight. What I'm saying, for the most part, didn't have too much really of an effective game like that. Still gave rebounds and
right,
everything, like what, about eight, what I'm saying. But from his point total, from where he had been doing double doubles and scoring high point totals,
for sure.
it was just tough sledding for Yucca. But luckily, Moji, and this is something encouraging. We want to see that again. What he had no points in the first half and ended up giving you 10 and 13. That some people do that in a whole game, and he did that in a half. That's very encouraging.
For sure.
Want to continue to see that. Of course, it was against a short-handed team in the Sixers, but again, you just want to get that confidence and that experience in to be able to take that, bottle that up, and take it into the play-in, because we're going to be back on the road after fan appreciation night at State Farm.
Well, and again, I mean the bench. Again, I always want to point out the bench because that's one of the more
Got to,
important parts of the
got to.
NBA, just the NBA makeup. Not Moge, but George Niang had 16 points.
Right.
But big man, of course, Karis LeVert with 31 points, 12 for 15 from field
Come
goal,
on
4
now.
for 5 from the 3-point line. So, yeah, big job. I mean, really good job from Karis LeVert, and he's expressed his interest with re-signing with the Hawks. He's one of those
Right.
players with the expiring contracts. So for him to express his interest in sticking with Atlanta, wanting to stay here in the Atlanta area and try to make something work. And Chris, I've said it. You heard me say this on this platform. I believe that the way that the team is set up right now, and this is given from Landry Fields, the way that the team is set up right now, I feel as though it is enough to retain Trae Young, get him back here, and try to grow something. I feel as though in the offseason, they got to get a big man. And I'm talking above 6'8". For some reason, we like centers that are under 7 foot. So we need somebody that can definitely be a rim protector and also someone that can help Trae Young going down the stretch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% agreed. Honestly, before we got Zaccharie Risacher, I was looking to possibly get a big. I know everything that was going on with Alex Sarr, and then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I was like, so I pivoted from Sarr and I went to Klingen just because I was like, man, I still just need a big man. But always in the
Right.
back of my mind, I kept in mind that the Hawks went to go visit Zaccharie Risacher, and went to go see him play.
Mm.
And he was starting to gain more buzz. And, I'm happy with the pick. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yo.
Very
Oh
happy.
yeah. I mean, you heard me talk about it before. I feel like he is the rookie of the year, and the way that
I
the
think so.
fans have talked to me in the comments, and the folks who talked to me in the comments as far as how voting works and how voting in these NBA superlatives work, I get it now. If you're on a better team, it better suits you. And unfortunately for
Mhm.
Dyson Daniels with the Defensive Player of the Year award, he's going up against three guys on three different teams that are all going straight to the playoffs and not in the play-in tournament. So that's how,
Right.
he's in
That
that
hurts.
situation. Whereas Zaccharie Risacher, I think he might be the overall favorite.
Yeah, Zaccharie Risacher, again, in the second half, he really like poured it on. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about like the second half of the season. But of course, well, with injury comes opportunity. And
Right.
we're talking about Jalen Johnson, of course. But Zaccharie Risacher, we already had seen just, saying a glimpse of what he could be against the Knicks earlier that year when he scored 33. But since then, he notched more points, like
Well,
his first
yeah,
double
he did
double
like
back in
36 one game and then 38
right,
just
36
just the
against
last one.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
36 against Milwaukee. Topped that at 38 against Brooklyn.
Right.
He also had 27 against Memphis back on March the 3rd. Then if you go back further than that, he notched his first career double-double against the Orlando Magic, somebody that we're going to be seeing back to back,
Yeah.
saying back on February 20th. So Zach, man, has really poured it on. He's got what, two Eastern Conference Rookie of the Months
Oh yeah,
under his
February,
belt,
March,
back to back.
February and March. Yep.
Yeah, so went back to back with that. And I don't get me wrong, I'm not disrespecting Stephon Castle because I'm not saying that he hasn't been on one, down there with San Antonio. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, if we're talking about better teams, I mean, San Antonio is not even going to the playoffs to
Yeah,
play
they're
in, to
out.
play
They're out.
nothing.
Yeah.
And I understand that Wemby is a big part of that, but honestly, when they made the trade for De'Aaron Fox, they still was around in the 10,
Yeah,
11,
they were
12
still in
slot
the
anyway.
play-in tournament area. Yeah, so yeah, of
Right.
course it
So
was still a chance for him.
yeah, I understand that. But hey, with injury comes opportunity, and the opportunity is right now for Zaccharie Risacher and his performances. Yeah, I think the voting may be already over with, but still, but before he had his 38-point game, but still, man, Zaccharie Risacher got to be the rookie of the year. Dyson Daniels, I look at it like this. He deserves the defensive player of the year. Nobody is getting steals, stocks, none of that stuff like them, especially in today's NBA, like Dyson freaking Daniels. But I will say this: if you want to pretty much snub him or get in trade, you know what I'm saying, if you want to do him like that for the defensive player of the year, then look, you got to give him the most improved. Then
For sure. And
the
I think
man,
he's definitely gonna get that. Yeah.
look at that. The man went from like 4 or 5 points a game to averaging about 15 points a game, 3 point steal, 3 steals a game, something that you haven't seen since what, John Stockton, Alvin Robinson. I'm talking about guys in the 80s before some of us were even born. So it's just like, bam, come on now. You can't, first of all, you got to respect history and the fact that he is doing something that we hadn't seen in almost 30 plus years. You put some respect on that. I'm sorry.
For sure.
Got to.
For sure. Oh, for sure. So before we switch gears here real quick, let's go ahead and paint the picture for how the play-in tournament or the scenario goes for next week, because obviously it
Mhm.
starts on Tuesday of next week. Atlanta
Right.
will go down and take on Orlando. Now, the objective is to win this game. Win this game, you're automatically in, and you take on Boston. Okay, that's
Right.
the number 2 seed. They lose, they end up coming back home and they host a home
Mhm.
game versus the winner of the Orlando of the not Orlando, but the winner
Miami Heat.
of the Miami Heat Chicago
Mhm.
Bulls matchup. Don't want to
Right.
see Chicago. Just to be completely honest,
Chicago is
they
on
are they
fire
are on
lately.
fire. You do not want to see Chicago.
They
But
they are winning. I think, let me see it. Let me see it. Yeah, they are winning tonight 116-89. It's Washington,
yeah,
but
I
I
mean,
can't
but
say that
still,
because we lost to them twice. So I'm
it's I mean, listen, they have been, they just the fact that Chicago has done what they've done. I mean, and taking full advantage of Miami and their whole situation. It's amazing. But again, we don't want to lose this game on Tuesday. But if that is to be the case, at least we host the game at home. We're taking on the winner of the Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls scenario. The winner of that game, of course, goes on and plays against the number 1 seed, Cleveland Cavaliers. Loser, of course, packs their stuff up and head home. Chris, what are your just overall feelings? Because we're going to talk about what we're planning for come June with these Atlanta Hawks. Of course, we've been talking about getting a big guy. But what do you see coming from these Atlanta Hawks going into really quickly, how do you see this happening with the Atlanta Hawks going into the playoffs?
Walter,
And the play
I'm gonna be real with you, man. Walter, I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm gonna be real with our audience. You know, what I'm saying, very loyal Hawks members. The last final 10 games, I was expecting to try to see some form of consistency. I haven't seen it to the point where I am comfortable about going into this playoffs and possibly upsetting someone and everything like that. I still believe no one wants to necessarily see the Hawks, but they have to be clicking on all cylinders. Honestly, we see some glaring issues, those big to big lineups that we have to worry about and stuff like that. Those are concerns.
Right.
Of course, shooting the three, being able to knock down shots, execute, we were hoping to see more of a consistency of that. And I just don't think that we've gotten that. So really how I feel is let's just take it game by game from here on out, because we're locked in now. So from here on out, let's just take it game by game. Let's see how we perform, see how we execute, respond to the coach's message and adjustments, if any. And hey, if we get out the first round, I feel like that is a successful season, even though I know, the record may not look like it, but if you can get to the playoffs, that's already success compared to last year.
I mean, because that's very hopeful.
Right.
I just want to say that's very hopeful of you, Chris.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm just saying, but if you that's why I'm saying I'm taking it game by game. I'm not getting too ahead of myself.
Right.
Or anything. Like I'm not going into it with any high expectations.
No, not at all.
Going into it. Yeah, that's how I feel like Hawks fans should go into this. Let's just see how far we can get. We already know we're behind the 8 ball in certain aspects, and the personnel is the personnel.
For sure.
So let's just see where we get.
I mean, like, in my humblest opinion, also, just piggybacking off of what you said, I am not as confident as you are, sir. I'm not as hopeful either. Honestly, my biggest hopes is that they can at least get to within 6 games. Okay, my honest outlook on this is to not get swept. That is the one thing you don't want to do in a series type sport. And I'm talking basketball, hockey, baseball. You don't want to get swept. If it were a game type situation, you just chuck it up to, the sport of it all. But you just don't want to get swept.
It's all about matchups, fam. It's all about matchups.
Yeah, I hear that. But that's for during the season. And when you got to play up against somebody consistently each and every game, like for a 7-game series, and that's something that I've noticed. When it's a 7-game series, all bets go out, and I'm even looking across the NBA to the Western Conference, and though I understand that it's about matchups, but yet I don't believe that number 1 OKC or number 2 the Houston Rockets are as ready as they, as their records would say. You still got LeBron James in the league. You still got Steph Curry in the league. You still got, the Warriors have Jimmy Butler, for God's sake. You know what I mean? They have Jimmy Butler, for God's sake. So let's not act as if this is something that, and this is just in my regards to the Hawks. I just feel as though we love it. I'm grateful for what we have, especially given the fact that we've dealt with the injury bug all season, the loss of Jalen Johnson, the trades, all this other stuff, figuring out our shots, whatever. Let's get it to 6 games. Get it to 6 games, and you got me. I'm tuned in. But I definitely don't want to sweep. Fair. Don't want a gentleman's sweep. I feel as though this season shows how gritty this team can be, and they would be a problem at full tilt.
Oh yeah,
completely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we were healthy, like all the way, even with Capella or
Hmm.
Nance and JJ, of course, my tune would actually be a little bit higher than
Yeah.
even where I am right now. Well,
Right.
probably a lot of bit higher. I'll probably be like, who won it first round? But we're not there.
That's okay.
So
Yeah. It's
so
all good. It's all
again,
good, man. So
game by game now, just
okay,
game by game.
so real quick before we get out of here, Chris, I was going through. I'm gonna say Tip because a lot of folks been referring you as Tip on the chat.
Yeah.
Definitely continue.
Hey,
So Tip, I've been checking out because I don't think it's too early to look to the draft and seeing what things are looking like. Obviously, the Hawks have the number 14 pick from the Sacramento Kings.
right.
And I mean, just being completely honest, I mean, this far out, you know that the draft boards and the mock draft boards are going to be everywhere. They're going to be all over the
Right.
place, even down to how. And just to give you guys simple reference, the NFL draft, the boards definitely had Shedeur Sanders number one, Cam Ward number two. Now Shedeur is completely off of that top 10 list, and Cam Ward's number one. So translating that over to the NBA, I've been looking at a lot of the draft boards, and they have. I mean, just listen to the names, Chris. Tip, my bad. But they got Liam McNeely, Jace Richardson from Michigan State, and I'm gonna tell you the publications they're coming out on. Sports Illustrated said that Jace Richardson was gonna be with the Hawks at 14. Liam McNeely from Connecticut was gonna be with the Hawks at 14, and that's from NBA.com. Walter Clayton Jr. was supposed from Florida is also projected to be at 14 with the Hawks. Tahad Pettiford from Auburn is also projected to be at 14 with the Hawks. Even the Frenchman Noah Isingwe is also, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's also projected at number 14. Chris, do you know of anybody specifically, or do you know anyone that you can narrow this down? Because I'm starting my film review about
I
on all of
mean,
these guys.
well, of course, what I'm saying, everybody should know who Walter Clayton Jr. is
Yep.
right now.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying?
National
Especially
champion.
especially you, Walter.
Right,
You know
national
what I'm saying?
champion.
And everything. Yeah. So I mean, you know where you're going with that. I do know a little bit about Liam.
Hmm.
I know he's not a center.
Right.
And
Again, right. Right.
honestly, it's not a center on this list right here, to
At
be
all.
honest with
No.
you. The only one I probably would entertain, honestly, would be Noah. I know he's kind of raw, but he
Same.
is another Frenchman.
Right.
He is 18 right now and stuff like that. So he could be a project, maybe go down to the Skyhawks, something like that. But at the same, I mean, but he's still a forward. I mean, he's 6'10",
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's still a forward.
He was actually the first player that I started watching film on. I like his game. Reminds me not of Zaccharie Risacher, but some of the plays and just the awareness. And I think that's something that a lot of NBA teams are starting to pay attention to. It's just the awareness of these other players. I just feel as though the Americanized or the American players, respectfully, they have this thing where if they don't have the ball or if they're not center stage, this ain't about them. I can just lag off and let them, the whole ISO thing. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
just the awareness of these Frenchmen, I can appreciate that specifically with Zaccharie Risacher, Wemby as being the first two that I know of. Even Alex Sarr, first three that I know of to come into the NBA and start to make waves, if you will.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Again, like I said, I mean, Zaccharie Risacher, and then like you see the confidence that he has now.
Right.
And even man, I don't know if you've seen the move when he was on the wing,
Yes.
when he bink left, bink right, shot clock going down, sidestep for three, cash.
Right. Right.
I was like, man, you look at the confidence of this young man that he's gaining, man. Zach, all he needs to do is just continue to get minutes,
Yeah,
continue to
that's it.
develop.
That's
You
it.
know,
Oh, they're
just
telling us
just
to
give it what
go.
it is.
They're
It's all
telling us
good.
to
I'm just
go.
holding up. I'm just holding up the sign.
Yeah,
That's all.
right.
That's
You
all.
just hold
Yeah, I
up.
just gotta
So
hold up the
okay,
sign.
really quickly. So we got to get out of here. Chris, really quickly, did we hit on this number one draft pick?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Zaccharie Risacher, he is going to be the reason why you don't have to mortgage your farm to go get somebody like a KD who's turning 37. One of my favorite players
But
in the NBA
too
for
old.
sure. I mean, and the thing about it is, I don't want to interrupt the foundation that we're building by trying to leapfrog, you know what I'm saying, by over some steps, you know what I'm saying, when you got development right here, you see what Zaccharie Risacher is doing. All he has to do is just get more consistent in it. And that's going to come with reps and work ethic in the offseason and just with coaches and everything like that. I believe it's going to come. We did right by Zaccharie Risacher. And in this draft, if I can go get a center, I'm going to go get a center. I'm not sure if the kid from Duke is going to fall all the way
No,
to
it
the
won't.
Atlanta Hawks.
No, it
I
won't.
doubt it.
No, it
I
won't.
doubt it. Yeah, I'm saying I
No.
doubt it.
Yeah.
But you know, again, I'm still looking at a big man. Even I mean, Derek Queen, he's not a 7-footer, but he may be there. The guy from Crittenton, I know he's a senior, so he's played some center ball on the regular basis. I know he's 7-1, but I know you probably can get him later on, maybe with the Lakers pick. So I mean, I'm still looking for a big man. I think we need to improve that front court. I like Moji. Keep on developing him. JJ comes back. So you got two forwards right there. And Onyeka's gonna be there. I don't expect Clint Capela to be here anymore. I don't even know what's going to happen with Larry Nance, if anything. So again, and last thing, it may cost too much.
But the question was, we did hit on the pick though.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's that. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I was saying in the
Yeah,
beginning. That's
yeah,
why I
for sure.
started with it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just, you know what I'm saying, like, continue to do the steps that you're doing, I think, in my opinion. And instead of trying to,
continue to build
instead
up
of trying
that
to,
core.
right,
Yeah,
just we probably need to draft our own center.
probably
That's what I'm
so.
thinking.
Probably so, and I
What
totally
you think?
understand. And I feel it's the same way. I think this is a good core. I think we hit on that pick, and I think from what we've all just said, I think we kind of get where the Hawks are and where we're standing and how things are. So hopefully on Sunday we get a win going into the next game versus Orlando in
Right, man.
Orlando on Tuesday.
We gotta do this, man. This is big. This is big, man. We
This is
got
big.
to do this.
This is big. My name is Walter Pollard. This is my man Chris Tip. More, make sure you don't forget tip. Pause. But we definitely, with all that being said, we have nothing else to do but sign out, and I'm out. Peace.
Hawks win.